Give me the top three mistakes you see happen when people are like, all right, man, I want to come either buy or sell the business. What are the top three things that you're seeing that you're like, wow?
The biggest one is why I'm doing what I'm doing right now is that most businesses are not sellable. Most businesses, statistics from Exit Planning Institute are that 80% of businesses that just won't ever sell. Put on the market, won't sell. Why? Well, most founders create a prison for themselves. It's not a bad thing, right? It's a lifestyle business. It's a business that revolves around the founder. That's hard to sell when the time comes. It just is. And the biggest mistake that I think a lot of people have is they may have like I keep a balance sheet for our family and I've got the business assets valued because that's what I do and put in there, right? Well, I think a lot of founders put a value on their business and they put it mentally in their head or on a personal balance sheet like I do. And they think that one day somebody's going to want that. And they're probably counting on it because a lot of founders' net worth is associated and tied up in their business. And when they hit that point where they've had a bad day and they're like, F it, I'm done, or I want to burn it down, I want to get out, right? Typically the news that they find out, myself included back in 2023 when we tried to sell, was that you have an unsellable asset and it's going to take a couple of years of work to get it to a point where you can actually sell it. And so that's a journey I went through from 2023 until basically January 31st of this year, of tuning things up, extracting myself, and it's a process, right? And most people are, by the time you're done, say, I'm done. I'm over it. I hate my company. That's why I run this challenge called Love Your Agency Again. I want people to be able to love it again. I want you to fall in love with it again because chances are you don't have something that can be transferred right now. So you only have one choice. That is falling back in love with it. Enough to get it lipstick, get it polished up, and potentially extract yourself and transfer it to another person or group. But that surprise, most sellers are ignorant. They think it's worth X. They hear all these things. They assume, and then when they get there, in reality, they're like, wow, I actually have at least at a minimum a year's worth of work to do before I can do this. And it's depressing. It's depressing. I have a breakup letter in my email called Working Terms, where my deal in 2023 to sell to factory fell apart. And the two things they liked were me and the brand, and everything they didn't like was the prison I created for myself. Even though I had employees, I had revenue, I had all these things. Guess what? I was still central to the brand. The company revolved around me. I was responsible for 100% of the sales. I had an untransferable asset, at least for cash, and wanting to walk away. So I'm going to give you that one thing, not three, because that is the number one thing. And really nothing else matters. As I'm working with founders, a lot of the work we do is to make that exit optional. I always say if Warren Buffett comes and knocks on your door, we're in Kansas City, where Warren Buffett has gobbled up a couple of organizations, gobbled up the first company that I worked for in real estate. It has a furniture store here called Nebraska Furniture Mart. Makes it really hard to compete in a couple of those areas. And so I always say, well, if Uncle Warren came and knocked on your door and wanted to roll you up in one of these organizations, would you be ready? Could you? Would you want to buy it? Most of the time, the answer is no, particularly in the agencies. I want you to ask me why I think that a lot of agencies are more untransferable than everything else.
I would take the guess because they've built the business around themselves. To your point, like I just wrote down, you said you are still central to the brand, even though you have a team. And all the ones, I'm trying to think of my roster, majority, with maybe the exception of a handful, they may have a team. They may have outsourced some to the Philippines. They may have some people local. But if they don't sell, game over. If they're not present, calling the shots, game over. They don't have enough of a management team that could stay in place and keep things moving. That would be my answer.
Yeah, and you're 100% right. And I think